Bonjour.
Exactly 3 minutes.
Go ahead.
It's been exactly 3 minutes. I called you back.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. What's going on?
Well, a lot of people, because, alright, I'm sure you get that it's been 6 years now, so I don't have to explain that like 300 times, but there's also the fact that for each person who's been gonna help me, each and every one of them is a little bit and piece of that. And a lot of people don't understand that it's not just them. Like when you have, 200 people that have all been too busy, and then somebody ends up, well, it was over 100 people that were too busy before Natalie was killed, and then all the people who wanted to send me their regards and their sorries, and they'll help if they can, and then I tell them how they can, and it's like they have a mind blank. Like they don't understand that when they're sharing the story about Johnny Depp or the story about Jason Momoa or any of these other, or the Kardashians or any of that, they don't realize that what they're doing is speaking out. They're showing what it is that they care about, and it's unfortunate that it's Kardashians.
Right.
That's not the here or there thing. The thing is that the longer it goes on, the more likely I am to be abused again. And without somebody actually speaking up and trying to push it, so that people do see what's going on and do understand it a little bit better, that's the biggest issue, is the education and the understanding of the, the procedures that have to be followed, or are expected to be followed. And that includes witnesses coming forward with the victim, especially when they're called mentally ill. And that's one of the things, that guy calling himself Smokey Rebel, I have a friend,
that idiot.
or did have a friend named Smokey Rebel, but that guy, that's not him. He made that account up just because I was talking about Smokey Rebel at the time. Anyway, the idea that somebody would choose this is just completely stupid. And
Let me tell you what,
taking
that made me
responsibility,
disgusted.
do what?
I was disgusted by that comment by that person.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, just appalled that somebody could even think that, let alone say it out loud. Like,
Well,
who would choose this
do
life?
That's most of the people who interact. The people who helped out the Bollingers, they were very interactive with it. The people who offered to help me were not very interactive, and where they were interactive, they didn't speak up about it for certain. And the parts where, where I got railroaded, it's because these people didn't verify that I was telling the truth, even in their own stories. And a lot of them, they just wanted to, after the fact, look the other way, because that's how they're trained.
But how can you do that, though? Now that you're aware of the problem, you're aware of the abuse, you know that somebody's being abused that's protected by our laws, how can you just look the other way? I don't understand.
Exactly, and that's the thing about all the folks who said that they're sorry to me and stuff. Like, I do feel legit bad for them for the way that I had to expose it all, but somebody has to. I can't just keep taking this abuse. I can't just keep having my predators be able to harm me repeatedly and then play victim when I react in a horrible way. Like, you can see that I called the cops repeatedly. I had to do it alone. I started off calling them calmly with each and every one of these agencies. They kept on telling me that it was another agency's job, even like Nebraska State Patrol, for example. It is literally their job to police the police, and they refused to do it. And
they pass the buck every time. Passing the buck. Yeah.
And it's because I had to go in alone, and that's what people don't understand. The mentally ill tag is completely different from what people assume. And an important part of the education is that explaining that the autism function scale does not tell what our function is, it tells what our IQ is. That's literally what that test is. So when they put us on a functioning scale, it's not a function scale, it's a how smart are you scale.
But why should you have to explain yourself, though, regardless? Why do you owe anyone an explanation about that, Sean? You don't.
That's
It's
what
not
I'm
up
being
to...
victimized over. The point isn't
Right.
an apology. I'm not saying that I need to apologize. What I'm saying is that I need
No.
to stop being victimized over
That's
being
right.
different. It's kind of like having
Absolutely.
Tourette syndrome. People get to pretend that I'm on drugs because I have Tourette syndrome. But
Okay.
Tourette syndrome doesn't hurt anybody. People
No,
just
it does
look at
not.
me twitching weird. But then the medications they want to give me for it will literally kill me. I mean, they're liver-damaging medications. So they will literally drug me with something that will kill me because other people don't want to see me twitching.
Well, then don't look at me. Don't look at you. It's
That's
really
not
simple.
see, that's a simple solution, you'd think, but it doesn't
Well,
stop the victimization.
of course not. And you know, I read what I looked at what you sent me recently. I planned on doing a video today. I'm working today, but I'm just doing like labeling right now. So I have some time. I wanted to do a video today, another video, and I just really.
I need someone to really push how unsafe a situation this is, and that the evidence is there, and I can send you so much more.
Well, I would be happy to look at what you send me. I will look at it as time permits. I've gone over what you sent so far, but I'm going to make another video today, and I would like to be that at least one person in your life that I know you've heard a bunch of bullshit. You've heard a lot of pretty words, like you say, from people.
A lot of people put efforts forward. They just didn't speak up about them.
Right. Well, I don't want to be one of those people, I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to be like everybody else because I'm not. So the only way I can show that to you is to prove it to you, is to show you by doing it, you know, by speaking out for you. And I will do that. I am doing that. I don't know where it will go. I don't know if it will do any good at all. However, I believe that we all have a voice for a reason, and that's so that we can use it for others in situations like this. Because this is ridiculous. This has to stop. It has to stop. It's not right. It's illegal. It's against the law. It's inhumane. It's evil. It's criminal. It's so many disgusting
things. It leaves me at the mercy of people who don't have my best intentions at heart, and that's what people don't get. I have to put it public. I tried it the other way. I tried it the legal way. And that's what I need people to really push, is that someone needs to help me with the legal route for turning these people in. It has been 6 years of me having to move. People telling me to move only separates me and isolates me from my friends and my loved ones.
Have you ever spoken to anybody at the ACLU by chance?
I've tried, but like I keep saying, no matter what suggestion it is, someone needs to call them with me.
Yeah. Well, here I have an old contact at the ACLU. My late husband, who was paralyzed, we had some issues with disability laws, people that were discriminating against him, and we had a caseworker there, a representative actually, and it's been like 15 years. I don't know if he's still there, but I'm going to give them a call on Monday and see if he's available, and if he's not there, I'll see if there's somebody else I can talk to. I think that your case really warrants a representative from the ACLU. I mean,
there's a lot of evidence that's been lost or stolen.
Doesn't matter. You haven't left.
The reason I'm trying to tell this is so that you're informed of how and why. Mm-hmm. It's because a lot of people, they don't get the fact that I'm in an emergency situation, and at any point in time I could get all of my stuff stolen from me by the laws. Mm-hmm. Like right now I'm living in a parking lot. Now every day that goes by, my anxiety is even worse until I am able to get to a community where I'm safe. Mm-hmm. Right now there's a lady named Claire. She had her children stolen. Her oldest daughter was stolen by a man who is not her father and taken to Florida. This is against the law. Right now she is stuck between here and Beaverton. And she was going to help me, but obviously with her family issues, she's not able to. But right now, she's kind of stranded there. That's somebody I'm trying to help out right now because that's just a completely fucked situation. But also, what I wanted to really impress is that with all these people that have eaten up my time with the I'm sorry's, the one thing that they're not doing is speaking out about how this is an emergency situation. This isn't all right, well, let's go through housing hoops for 2 years. No, I need to turn in my predators. That's what needs to be done. And that's what every one of these services that I'm told to go to turn in my predators, all they want to do is housing. That is literally the only thing they will do. And it's a dead horse at this point. I got kicked out of my housing because I had to do property damage to force the police to do their jobs because they wouldn't do it for me. Every single situation where I have broken the law, it's because there was a life at stake, and they don't get that.
Right. So what can I do? And for right now, what can I do that's going to help put you at ease for the moment? Just for right now.
Well, you called me and spoke to me, but the part where you were listening, that's the part that is the most important. The more informed you are, the better off you'll be. There's hundreds of witnesses that I can send you videos of, and you can hear in their own words. There were a lot of people involved who knew what was going on. The police literally went out of their way to lie about me, pretend I'm schizophrenic, and prevent them from being heard.
Can we do something, Sean? I have an idea.
What do you want to do?
I want to create a new email address for myself where you can send me all of your evidence, that it is just strictly for your evidence, like, so that I don't lose any of it, like in my other emails, so that you can send me as much as you want, as often as you want, and that way it's all in one place, and then it kind of gives you also...
As long as it is okay to give that information to law enforcement or the media in case
100%,
that's what
yes.
route we need to take.
100%, yes, absolutely. But this way, it's kind of segregated from anything else of being mixed up in other things, and it's just your case and just your information, just your proof or your evidence, and that way, it's all in one spot. And then you can have a backup also. I'll give you access to it, so you can have access to it at any time.
And that's what I've been trying to do from the very start, is make sure there is a backup of it, and that's how a lot of evidence has gotten stolen. At the very beginning, I didn't have any of those resources or the abilities. I still don't have the technical abilities to do a lot of this stuff. And like with my Google accounts, I had to make multiple accounts because it only allows you like 15 gigabytes. And then after that, it's full. So then later on, I was talked into buying Google accounts so that I could actually save more evidence on them. And then I was locked up for trying to get that evidence turned into the Nebraska State Patrol against Scott DaCosta. Scott DaCosta told everybody in town, plus the jails, plus the prisons, and the mental health board and the county board, told them all that I was schizophrenic, and my medical papers and information shows otherwise.
Right. Well, let's do that. I'll start a new email account.
If you could explain that when you make a video, explain that I have the paperwork that shows I'm not schizophrenic and that this is what they victimized me over.
Well, not only that, Sean, isn't it against HIPAA for them to share your... And it's not even I guess it's not your medical information because it's not factual, so it doesn't matter, I guess.
Well,
it's not factual.
They lied to hospitals in order to have me drugged for trying to turn them in. Literally, the officers I tried to turn in took me to the hospital and told the hospital I was schizophrenic.
Right. Without any proof or evidence or a doctor's...
but there is documented proof that I was trying to turn them in at the point in time where they chose to arrest me and assault me and take me in and pretend like I was schizophrenic. I was trying to turn in literally those officers, and that documentation is all over.
Right. Would that be easier for you, so you can email this and email your evidence and stuff? Would that make it easier for you to have it all in one place?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll get a larger storage on the Google account, on the Gmail we set up, and then I'll give you the access with password and everything access, so you'll have that. And then you can just start emailing me, or emailing us, all your evidence as often as you want, and I'll go through it as I can. And let's start there, and then I'll make a video today. And I'm going to keep making videos, and I would like to look at the evidence, as you send it to me, so we can start doing something, or at least getting it all in one place where it's a little bit easier to manage.
You listened to my conversation with Marcia Estrada, right? The lady who said I'm not schizophrenic? Well, she talks about Sheriff Scott DaCosta in there, and Tamara, and Jen Beebe. These are all either mental health professionals or police officers that she's talking about. She has intimate knowledge of those situations, and she still didn't try to turn it in. She had...
What happened to her anyway?
Do what?
I'm sorry, what happened to her? Where'd she go?
She's still in Nebraska. She's not my mental health worker anymore because of the situation with her and Penny Cooper. Now, most of that is in my audio recordings, and there are literally thousands of those. I'm going through them right now to try to find the stuff that I need for hundreds of different situations of abuse that I can send to you. I mean, there's literally been thousands of crimes committed against me in the last 6 years. No joke. And I can't come in any of them alone.
Right. Well, I believe it, and I think this is a place where we can start with the emails, and so that you can get everything in one place. And then I will, if you can, when you send stuff to email, if it's possible for you to tag it or on the subject who it's in reference to, and that way we can kind of separate. I can make folders in there.
Yes, ma'am.
For each one.
Is, on my Facebook, I've had to post a lot of that stuff publicly on Facebook, and there's people who promise to help me, and I tag them in it, but they just never follow through. They look at it and tell me how messed up it is, and how they're gonna, and then 6 months down the road, like, my paperwork, when a crime is committed against me, I'm supposed to turn it in immediately with a friend or family member. And all of the stuff says, for a friend or family member, all of the information on it from the states, Oregon included, the first thing that it says is for friend and family. And when I say friend and family, when I went to my friends and family, that's literally the help that I went to them for every time for the last 6 years. And they all told me that they couldn't. They were too busy, like you. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean people, they're too busy.
Right.
It also costs me a lot of time and money when they don't call back and don't keep their appointments, and it results in situations like right now, my vehicle is not legal to drive. My plates aren't legal. I haven't had a steady address long enough to establish anything, and I've had to stay in very volatile situations, and I'll send you more evidence of that. There's evidence of people with heroin needles in their arms, methamphetamines, people screaming at each other. I mean, it's a mess. And that's what I've been forced into since Natalie's death.
Right. How much does it cost to get your car legal for tabs?
Well, I have to get a legal address here in Tillamook first. An actual physical address in Tillamook. And then I can find out.
Would they allow a P.O. box to work as an address?
Nope. Already
it has to be a physical address.
It has to be a physical address.
I wonder if you could use the general post office address.
Nope.
No?
Nope. There are two other services here who said that I could use their address, but because I'm a male and the way that they treated me as far as the situation goes, refusing to look at evidence, refusing to actually advocate, like, it became too scary of a situation for me to go there. They started giving me the whole precursor to playing victim thing. So, as soon as somebody does that, I can't go back. I can't feel comfortable going back, because at any point in time, they could play victim. I'm mentally ill. They're not. Or I'm homeless. They're not. I'm male. They're not. All stuff I have to be afraid of.
Right, of course. I'm trying to think right now while we're talking. I wonder if I could even put an ad on Tillamook Craigslist to find somebody that would be willing to let you use their address for just for the simple getting your car license, or tab.
Yes, ma'am. It could happen. That's one of the things about Lynn Whalen asking me, or giving me free reign to go down there to Slab City, but I'm not sure if I sent you anything on Slab City. That's a scary place.
No, I haven't heard anything about that, no.
Well, type it up on the internet. Slab City, California.
Slab, S-L-A-B?
S-L-A-B, like a cement slab. Yes, ma'am. That's actually what it was named after. Do what?
Slab City, California.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just writing this stuff down here so that I can, you can know what we talked about and know what I'm going to do here. So we're going to create an email account, and I'll get the extra storage on it, and then share password with Sean. Okay. Let's see here. And then Slab City, California. I'm going to look at Tillamook Craigslist to see if I can post an ad for somebody willing to let you use an address for physical address to get going to work on is getting an email account, finding Sheree on Tillamook Craigslist, I'll post an ad on there, and then looking up Slab City, California.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything else that I can do right now before we get off the phone that I can work on for you that'll help you put your mind at a little bit at ease?
I just want to express how important it is to explain it is an emergency situation that I'm in and has been for the last 6 years, and also that autism is not a choice. And it's not schizophrenia, obviously. I mean, you got to hear from my mental health worker about the situation. She was already aware of the other people involved. So it's not like it's a big secret even in the Chapel area or the Sydney area or the Scotts Bluff area. It's well known in that entire region.
You're really muffled, Sean. I'm sorry, I can't hear you at all.
I'm sorry about that. I'm in the Starbucks
That's
now.
much better.
I said it's pretty important to show that not just Marcia Estrada, but also I can send you some of the stuff from my little sister. I mean, Scott DaCosta and his antics are well known in that area. The same thing with the people from Region 1 not doing their jobs, like Tamara and Jen Beebe. And I have their information from Region 1 as well, not Tamara's. I would need to get that from Region 1, and that would require, as they told me, an act of God. So it seems to me most of the legal stuff that they told me that I could do all requires an act of God according to the professionals. In reality, they should have told me the proper procedure instead of BSing me about acts of God. The fact that I have at least 24 government officials recorded telling me these things would require acts of God shows a gross mismanagement of our funds in addition to the humane or inhumane violations. Anyway, yeah, just like I said, people speaking out and actually being educated on it is the best way to do it. I mean, a lot of people, they want to use autism against me and then pretend that it's like being delusional or being schizophrenic, and obviously my mental health care professional showed that otherwise.
Well, people that are autistic are generally a lot smarter and more intelligent than the average person, so I don't see how that's a hindrance at all, you know, but either way, it doesn't matter. It's not you shouldn't be condemned.
One thing, though, is they're trying to claim that I have a separation between here and the real world, that I don't live in reality. And I know people who are schizophrenic that are highly intelligent. There's a guy I know named Jeremy Elliott. He's got his IQ is in the high 140s, but he also thinks the devil talks to him and thinks that everybody's out trying to kill him, and there's assassins and stuff planted around his house and things of that nature. So the intelligence thing doesn't necessarily mean he's not schizophrenic. But it's a lot of people, when they know somebody who's schizophrenic, they'll stop me when I'm explaining to them that I'm getting treated like I'm schizophrenic, and they want to stop me and say, well, you know, it's not okay to treat someone schizophrenic that way. Well, I wasn't saying it was okay to treat someone schizophrenic that way. The point that I'm making is that I'm getting treated that way, and it's not okay because I'm autistic, not schizophrenic, not delusional.
And regardless, it's still an injustice against human beings, what's happening to you, Sean. Whether you are autistic or not, or schizophrenic or not, whatever people want to label you as, it does not matter.
These roadblocks are important to mention because, you know, it is the situation that I'm in, and it is the context with which I have to do these things. And according to the law, they cannot deny me that context. They can't deny me those rights. So, I mean, it's one of those things where I know my rights, they're still not being observed because it's just the labels that they're allowed to use.
Right.
It's not autism, it's mentally ill according to them. And according to their guidelines on mentally ill, they get to pretend that I'm a violent, schizophrenic, delusional nut job. And that's obviously not the case.
Right.
Anyway, I should probably let you go. I gotta get some work done. I got a video I gotta try to figure out how to cut it in half so I can put both up on the internet because it won't do it. Just
Okay, and I'll tag you when I make my video, okay? And I'll make sure that you know that it's up. but it'll be sometime today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay. You're welcome, Sean. Okay, we'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Be safe. Bye.
You